Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Gavel Strikes. Thank you very much for joining us. We have a great show today. I'm Brian Wiedman.
I'm Xavier Chavez.
And today we've got...
our guest.
Me.
Do you not know your name?
It's Ryan.
It's Ryan.
I'm Ryan Mundaka. Hi.
And he works in the department with us, and he's going to show you a little bit about some stuff he brought along. But kind of first, I guess this, I was gone last week. Yeah, I was at New York Comic Con.
And it was nice.
Too bad you got stuck here and you had to work. But did I tell you, Ryan? Did I tell you the real bad story? I got punked by Kevin Eastman.
What? How?
I got punked by Kevin Eastman. Kevin Eastman walked up to the booth, and you can see a picture on the screen, everybody. And I've only seen old pictures of him. I have never seen new pictures of him or recent pictures. He walks up to the booth, and X and I have worked with him as far as bringing stuff in and, things like that in the past. So we talked to him on the phone, and he's at the booth and he's looking at the books, and he goes, Can I buy any of these? And I just looked up because I've had that question 100 times already in the weekend. And I go, no, they're all for auction. He goes, I know, Brian, I'm Kevin Eastman. And I just go, oh, God. And then he proceeds to get mobbed. So it was a fun time.
Again,
we had a good time. He was a great guy.
At any Comic-Con, any of these guys basically come up and say their name out loud, even if people don't know. It's like, ding.
Yeah. It was one of those crazy things. If I'd have taken a picture of it, he couldn't literally move an inch, and he had questions just firing.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was fun. But we had somebody else stop by. It was Simone Bianchi. And I can't tell you what we're working on with him. You can see a picture with him. He's a great cover artist. We actually sold a Detective 833 cover in the last sale.
Yes.
The one with Zatanna. It's a great picture. You can see it there that he's talking with Barry. I guess they're lining something big up. I can't wait to hear what it is. I don't know anything of the specifics, but stay tuned, everybody, in the Gavel Strikes world, because I guess we have some good things coming up with that.
Again, he's one of the better artists today, and he had one of the recent Marvel Masterpiece sets, which was
I saw some of his cards. Yeah. They're gorgeous.
So, they're gorgeous. Really nice.
So we brought Ryan along because we have a special showcase auction. Ryan, you want to talk a little bit about it? What is it? When does it start? It's already started. When
it's
does
already
it end?
started. Yeah, it's already started.
Yeah, so give us all the information, what the sale number is and all that stuff.
Sure. So it's sale number 40201. It's also known as Coming Out in Comics. It is Heritage's first full LGBTQI+ showcase auction, just with comics and comic art.
But you don't have just comics and comic art with you.
No, I don't. I've got some fun stuff here too.
Cool.
And the theme of it was all this.
Yeah. So the main theme is we're highlighting queer artists, characters, and for the first time writers, which is something that we don't really do in the department too much. Whenever we have a slabbed book, we'll just focus on the artist. But now we're looking at writers.
Yeah, you've kind of identified and specified and brought that into a focused auction.
Yeah.
And that's something, we've said this in the past on past shows. When we have these showcase auctions, they're very, very focused. They get the collectors that want those things only into those sales, and prices do really well. I actually love showcase auctions. I love them because you can put them together very nicely. I mean, you've got the international one. I do the pre-code horror. You're doing the coming outs auction. We got a key comic showcase.
There's a toy showcase coming out.
The toy one, yeah, it's crazy the amount of auctions we've done. Started in the last 6 years that I've worked here, and the last 3 that you have. It's insane.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
So, well, tell us what you brought with.
Yeah. So before I do, I wanted to talk about the importance of why it's being done in October.
Okay.
A lot of people tend to forget that it's LGBT History Month, and a lot of people tend to focus more on June for Pride. And we just wanted to go a little different angle to talk about really its history and really its heritage, which is what we're known for. So we wanted to take that approach into showing off these wonderful goodies that we have.
Okay. Great, cool. And you got some great items. 'Cause
Yeah.
you have a lot of original arts. You've gotten comics.
An iconic cell
An
that you're going to
iconic
sell.
cell.
One of
Oh,
the
should we
most
start-
iconic cells
Should
ever.
we start with this one?
What,
You guys want to
you
geek
know,
out?
Go
All right,
big or
let's
go
start with the
home.
big
Why
one. Let's
not?
start with the big one.
So-
I mean, this is immediately recognizable,
It-
right? Do we know what this is? We do.
That is
Yeah. What's going on?
that is what is the question? What is going on? And
It is the laughing Prince Adam cell. It's from that immediately recognizable meme, and the ridiculously wonderful song that we've all heard on YouTube from the cover from Four Non-Blondes. Yeah.
So
Yeah, this is definitely the crown jewel of the entire sale. We're definitely trying something a little different. He-Man's always had some gay subtext underneath it as well, so that's always been kind of like hinted. And I mean, if you guys ever seen He-Man, you just know whether it's
and the transformation scene. And all
oh
that
my
stuff,
God,
so.
are you kidding me with like the leather harness and whatnot? Yeah, no,
So.
it's that's perfect. It's
just curious, is that a printed background? Is that or is it a master background painted?
So
do you know?
Our animation department who handled this one definitely said that it was a painted background. So the background does not appear to be the original, but the cell absolutely is.
That is really good.
Yeah.
Because, if you don't know out there in podcast land, if you have just the cell, it's an animation cell or production cell. If you have the painted background, that is any show or goes with the episode, but not with that cell, it's called a master background. And if it's a key master background, that means it goes with the actual cell in that sequence at that time.
In the scene.
And you have to remember that as cartoons move through, there's 24 slots or 24 slides
frames per
to a second, then you have one background for that whole sequence. So it's rare to get the whole key master set up.
You might have one background for the whole scene or half the
maybe
episode,
even minutes worth of stuff. Yeah, it's incredible.
Again, there's the backgrounds that are non-master backgrounds. There's the master backgrounds, and then there's the key master backgrounds. And this also has if Brian can show you, it has a painted copy of the star background, which we show. So
yeah,
Great.
that one was for presentation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we wanted to, because it's good. It's fun. It's fun. It's fun. There's no way around it. We've also got this really incredible graded copy of Nightmare on Elm Street 2. And if you guys have ever seen this, you know what I'm talking about.
Brian has seen it, but he didn't get the
Redhead.
references.
Really, you missed
Beautiful
that.
redhead.
No,
That's all I'm
no,
saying.
no,
Beautiful
no,
redhead.
there
Doesn't matter.
It is the it's the queerest horror movie ever made. It really is. For those of you that have seen it, you know what we're talking about. Whether
I almost need to watch this now because all I remember is the redhead.
no,
That's
all I
no,
remember.
whether you're running into your gym teacher in a leather bar, or whether you're being beaten to death with towels in the boys' locker room. That's right. It's all in here.
Okay.
It's really comical if you go back and think about it. But there's even been documentaries and studies done on this film.
Really?
The importance of it. Oh yeah.
See, now that I didn't know.
Yeah.
Oh
that's
yeah.
crazy.
It's really important. When it was originally came out, everyone's like, no, that can't be what it's about. It's not subtext, but it was very intentional. It was very, very intentional.
That's interesting. I
Yeah.
had no clue.
That's cool.
All I remember is the redhead.
Well, if you go back and watch, you're going to see a lot more than the redhead this time around. Well, what else do we have here? Oh yeah,
This is a Batman.
This is a Batman painting done by Jeffrey Catherine Jones, whom was a trans comic artist, and she was very prolific. She had done everything from Wonder Woman, and she had also participated in heavy metal for some time. But what's really astounding is that Frank Frazetta at one point referred to her as the greatest living painter of their time. And coming from Frazetta, that's
a big deal.
Well,
That's a big deal.
He was the living legend at the time, and everybody knew his name. So that is high praise.
Yeah.
no, and this gets overlooked a lot. Joan's pieces are obviously important, and we get them a lot, but her history is super important as well. The struggles that she went through, and that's something that we definitely wanted to highlight this month in regards to that.
Yeah, and the
That's
comic
cool.
community
That's very
is
cool.
very open and non-caring about this. We want our pieces. We don't care. We just care about it being on the wall, how much we love it. It doesn't matter what your beliefs are, what your politics are. We try to be as inclusive as possible. You know, people are people. They're always going to be, you know,
Especially
bigots out there. What we can't do much about that. But we collectors we try to just care about
well, the artist,
you
it's
are,
the
the
process,
artist,
the
the
art,
right, you see
the
what I'm trying to
writer
say?
or whatever. It doesn't matter.
I don't care. I
Uh,
just, if I like it, I want it.
I'm sure there's been several instances in modern times and in the websites where people have made a story and it's been well received, and then the person has come out and there's been backlash for them.
Sure, it was no different than Mary Shelley and Frankenstein when she wrote a classic novel, and it turns out she's a female. Oh no, but it's still a great story.
Again,
it doesn't matter.
And then that's the thing, in the comic book community, it's more about that. It's more accepting. We really don't care as long as it's something that we really enjoy and like. So.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And we can see this a lot more now. There are even queer-focused comic conventions that go on. So the community has definitely grown. There are geeks that are members of the LGBTQ community, and we just love our stories to be told through comics. And yeah, there's always been history, and this is one of the first times that we're able to kind of shove it up into the light and say, hey, there's something more behind this.
And also, like you say, the history of it all. So.
Yeah, which is again perfect time of the month to do it. I guess.
I'll help you out.
Thank you. Next up, we have this Jaffe piece, which is since we are talking about LGBTQ History Month, this is actually a pretty intense piece. You guys know the Mad Foldins, right? This one,
Al Jaffe, was very famous for the Mad Foldins, and he's the longest living artist. He was doing this up to I think his 98th, 97th birthday or something like that.
Yeah.
So, I think he's.
We talked about
now.
that on another podcast,
Yeah,
how long running he was.
And everybody
genius because he folded those. He was able to make those into a cohesive picture.
Again, and he's one of the only people that actually have done this, and the time that it takes to do something like this is very intricate. So
yeah, this one's kind of an important piece in my opinion. We didn't just want to focus on superheroes. We wanted to do something a little different as well, since it is part of the history. And this one is actually a pretty aggressive piece where the question was something along the lines of what unfortunate sport is picking up in American society. And when you do the fold in, it gives off the impression, or it shows that it's actually it's called gay bashing. And so you'll see a person that is on the ground that has been hit and is bleeding. And this piece was done in response about a year later to what had happened to Matthew Shepard, where he had been kidnapped and beaten and left for dead. And so it was kind of important and poignant, really. And since we wanted to highlight that, I figured this piece was somewhat important to show also.
Absolutely.
Historically and in society as well.
Yeah,
so.
it was just talked about our bigotry that we were going through. I love this one. This one's great. This is from All New X-Men, number 17. This is we have the whole story. We are the lot is the entire story, all 20 pages. But I wanted to just bring splash page 18
by Mark Bagley and Andrew Hennessy, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And this is Iceman's first gay kiss with Romeo, the Inhuman. Forget Romeo and Juliet. Try Romeo and Iceman. And it's a really fantastic piece. If anyone remembers that story, there is a battle between the mutants and the Inhumans. It really went along this whole Romeo and Juliet path, where the Iceman was told, you have to pick a side. You have to pick a side. You can't be with an Inhuman. We've all been through this. Warring families. And finally, he breaks in and realizes, no, he's just gonna He's gonna love who he's gonna love, and voila, like the wonderful kiss, and the story ends with them just kind of leaving the whole fight, going on their way. Let the families deal with their nonsense. And so again, it's
Which
the
would
whole
have been
story.
smart in the Romeo and Juliet storyline to begin with,
I agree.
or West Side Story, or
Again,
any other million other iterations
Then
that
you
they've
wouldn't
done.
have
of
poisoning and murder and all this stuff.
that. Well, yeah, but it would have ended nicer.
Well, it
Not
didn't
as
end
tragically.
ended up too well with them.
Not as realistic.
But it's a fantastic piece. I love this one. I love
What,
showing
there was
people
no
the
Vegas back in the day? You couldn't just elope and just be done with it? I mean,
In all fairness, Romeo and Juliet did elope, and it still ended
oh,
badly.
you're right, they did.
And it ended
Didn't
badly.
they?
Oh yeah. They had like people there, and it was a
Touche.
yeah. It didn't end well, regardless. Let's see, and what do we got? Oh, here we go. Yeah, this is a great star smashing cover of America Chavez. So we recognize her, right? We just saw her in Multiverse of Madness.
Doctor Strange.
Yeah. She just she's crashing through dimension. She's part of the new Avengers. She's fantastic. How can you not love her? And she's a proud member of the community.
And it's by Joyce.
Yes, Joyce Chen.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a fantastic piece too. I like the excitement here. There's a lot of strength here.
And there's a lot of detail with all that, the star breaking and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I like to look at it and think that she is smashing and making herself known. Yeah,
Is that a
breaking
cover or is that a
It is
splash?
a cover. Nope, it
Great.
is a cover. It is a cover to America #1, a variant cover, if I'm not mistaken. It's just very powerful. It's just a very powerful piece, and it says a lot, and it's very dynamic. And again, I thought it would be super important to have that in coming out in comics.
And the detail of that is absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
Great
Somebody, you had to put in every single little broken glass shard into that piece. It's amazing.
Yeah, she's being strong. She's breaking through. She's telling us to watch out.
And the whole face, very Arthur Adams, George Perez, all the detail.
Yeah,
So.
it's a lot of strength. I love it.
So when is the auction? When does it end?
Well, it's a showcase.
going
so it's
on
a month
now,
long.
right?
That's right. It started on September 29th,
Okay.
and it ends on October 27th.
Okay.
So there's still a solid 15 days.
2 weeks from tomorrow.
Yeah, 2 weeks from tomorrow. 15 more days to take a look at it, and we've been seeing a lot of.
I like this one, so.
Yeah, that's fine. I've been seeing a lot of attention. There's definitely been a lot of been getting a lot of emails about it, a lot of positive feedback. There have been a lot of people kind of.
That's fun. Okay, that works out really
That
well.
is actually kind of
actually.
funny. It's been getting some good responses. A lot of people have been they've been grateful. I'm getting some emails that are super like, "Wow, you guys are doing something like this. That's super incredible." And we really just wanted to show inclusivity and visibility. That heritage is. We're loving, we're a loving company. We're open to
everybody.
to everyone, to everything, to every experience and every story.
To all their collectibles and all their madness.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so the
We're
response
all a
has
bit
been fun.
crazy when it comes to collecting.
Well, that's
It's
Oh,
just
yeah.
that simple.
again,
Yes.
collectors are just different levels of
Oh
Yes.
yeah. Yeah.
of madness, basically.
Yeah.
And I will say that because of firsthand. So
I'm fully there with you.
I don't know. We've all got our vices when it comes to collecting
Oh,
these
yeah.
things.
oh yeah.
Yeah. But
Well, good. So we are on sale 40201.
Yep.
That will end 2 weeks from tomorrow. It'll
Yep.
go live. And then if you guys are looking for that sale, and you're going to want to go to ha.com/40201. If you have questions for Ryan, this is one of those things. We kind of let this get out into the community. We never know if we have enough interest. We might do another one next year.
Yeah.
That would be, up to Ryan. Ryan, what's your email in case somebody wants to get a hold of you?
it's ryanm@ha.com. That's RYANM@ha.com.
Great.
Perfect.
Well, it's awesome having you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank
We're
you.
not kicking you out. You can sit here and
All right, cool.
enjoy the rest of the show with us.
That's fine. Thank you.
So I guess
You
we're,
are the best looking one out of the three
Oh,
of us right now.
stop. No,
He's always the
do
best.
go on.
He's always
go
the
on.
best looking one out of all three of us.
Oh, please,
So
no.
today you're not wearing that Gone with the Wind outfit where you cut out the curtains. So.
I told you green doesn't look good on me on camera. I won't wear green.
So we'll move on here. Your turn, I guess.
My turn?
Well, unless you want
Oh,
to
that's
switch it
fine.
up and me go first.
how about we do that one thing that when you weren't here, that worked out so well, like
Switch back and forth.
alternate.
That one thing when I wasn't here. I was
Ooh.
still online.
The shade.
Why you gotta call me out like that? Wife had
shade.
COVID. What do you want me to
Shade.
do?
I'm not saying. I
Why
get
are you
it.
gonna be like that?
Don't
gonna be like
don't
that. The pain. He's so mean to me, everyone. Okay, that's fine. We'll alternate.
Okay.
Let's do that.
I was thinking of what you said yesterday, but I'm not going to say that out loud.
Please don't.
So with the foreign auction and that we're having, it's starting tomorrow and it's going until November. We also probably are planning other ones. There is a lot of foreign art, and in that particular auction,
Crazy.
we have
Crazy.
Oh, no, I got him.
in that particular auction we have two pieces, which is a Flash Golden Age type piece, The Land of the Golden Giants by Barone, and there is another complete story that I don't remember off the top of my head. But we also, in the past, have had several pieces of art, particularly from the UK imprints. And this one is from Super Spider-Man. And what's interesting always about these foreign or British publications is that they'll say an artist and an inker, but most of the time the title splash was actually completely drawn not by the artist on the piece. He was a very prolific UK artist named Jeff Ackland. And Mike Exposito still inked the particular piece, especially on a lot of the Spider-Man stuff. But I brought this because, again, it's a foreign original piece from the British imprints, and we get them every once in a while. And comparatively to the Amazing Spider-Man American versions, they're usually more reasonable than, let's say, a normal Ross Andrew or a Romita Senior or something.
Yeah, I had a cover either real early this year or was the end of last year, and they do them horizontally. They're landscape a lot of times. So they're really, but they're beautiful pieces. I mean, don't ignore them because people are starting to understand now.
And
don't
realize,
ignore
yes,
it because it's a UK version or it's a foreign version. They are just as beautiful. They were just as, and sometimes even beyond rare.
Again, and the artists are just as good. They were published. It's not like it's unpublished. It's just published in a different country. And they're just great pieces. Again, like I said, I think we've had Hulk covers in the past and stuff like that. So,
and you've got Spider-Man, you've got Green
Goblin, you got the Hate Monger,
and
it's just, again, it's a piece that's under $500 for a title splash, for Amazing Spider-Man title splash. So it's, again, fantastic piece to have on your wall, affordable art. So,
and we're warning you now, don't ignore it because it's a foreign piece.
Yes. Again, I think a lot of people are going to be surprised, not only with the foreign comics, but a lot of the foreign art. So
I do have a question actually regarding foreign stuff, because I've had friends who've come up to me and, hey, I want to get this AF-15 from the UK. It came out around the same time, if I'm not mistaken.
It's so about a month off.
Yeah, about a month off. So there's always like this debate of whether or not it's the real AF-15 versus the not. So there's always been this conflict where there's some people be like, no, I want a real AF-15. But what is it?
That is changing now. So you have to remember that U.S. collectors are, and I'm not trying to offend anybody out there, but it's true. Just kind of admit it. U.S. collectors are a bit snobby. They want U.S. versions, period.
Not only that, they also want, there's a very high grade snobs.
They very much so. But in the UK example of an AF-15, the difference between a US version and a UK version is 10-1. There are that many more United States versions than there are UK versions. It's a crazy difference,
especially in higher grade.
So when we're talking about print runs
or rarity,
the UK version is incredibly rare compared to the US version. Now, don't get me wrong, US version is much more desirable to that. And we used to see that the US version was here and the UK version was here in price. Now they've done this. They're almost dead equal, almost.
And I don't have a percentage.
It's a percentage, but it's not 10, 20, 30%.
It's gotten
more like 5 to 3.
The gap has closed.
Right.
Definitely.
And so I think in the future, you're going to see that swing a little bit. I think you're going to see if people understand just how rare those books are, you might see a change.
So for a high-end collector or a completist that they want, that's what kind of happens with a lot of the foreign comics. A lot of people collect the first appearance of Punisher, and they'll have all the different countries and stuff like that. So
you've talked about doing that with Daredevil.
With Daredevil #1. So the harder it is to do something like that, those particular issues, especially on the high-end bidders and collectors, those the harder it is, the more they'll fight for it. So an AF-15, again, a British one or a Latin one, might be a fraction of an American one. But if the future, a lot of collectors, especially the higher end ones, want a complete set, that's going to be more difficult to find. It's like the action page that we have from Paquito 255. There's only 3 to 4 copies known to exist. So let's say one of the biggest action comics collector or museums would want an example of that. The more people out there in the world that would want an example of that, the more that's going to go up, because they're going to fight for that.
It is a pure supply and demand equation, period. And that's kind of when I talk to people in New York. Why are prices the way they are? Supply and demand, supply and demand. Yes, there are 4,000 copies of Amazing Fantasy 15 out there, but there's 100,000 collectors.
Again,
you know what I mean? It's supply and demand.
And that's why you see that where it's a little bit more skewed is like the first appearance of Deadpool and Hulk. Those are the 2 highest graded comics in the CGC census. There's tens of thousands of them,
right?
But the price is still maintained because there's so many people that actually want those comics.
Right. So you're saying if a collector wants one of those pieces, just because it's not American, they shouldn't pass it up? If
No,
without a doubt. Because I'll tell you this: if they pass that up now, and say, I'm really interested in it. It fits into my collection well, but I don't know.
Think about it like
guarantee you 10 years down the road, they're not going to see any others.
Think about it like art. So there's a particular, like those Paquitos, the collector that had those, and I've talked to several collectors internationally. The one particular collector that we had, he was a Mexican collector, and he collected with his father for more than 40 or 50 years. And they only were able to find 3 of those comics.
Wow.
So it's just like, and again, it's not Mexico is a culture where all those paper drives they really didn't maintain much. The collectors at that time period in the 30s and 40s might not have been that big, or the conditions of the country as well. But that particular comic, like I said, an action comic collector, the 2 or 3 biggest ones are a museum. If they want that, they're going to have to buy it. And I bet you that when we have these auctions, there's going to be a lot more stuff coming out. But that type of material, I don't think is going to come out.
And we're going to see the focus. I said your auction is very focused. It narrows the focus, right? So people are going to look at that auction and they're going to focus. And then they're going to see what the prices go for. And then all of a sudden, everybody's eyes are going to light up and they're going to understand. And then it's all over. It's going to become unobtainable. Those prices are going to go through the roof and people aren't going to know what to do. It's that hard to get. I mean, we've been going through the pre-cut horror that he got in. I showed you some of the stuff that have covers that don't exist. The images do not exist in the US versions. There was one with Submariner tied to the bomb and the Human Torch flying next to him. That doesn't exist.
They're original covers.
They're original covers.
To those
and
things.
So if you are a completist, like X said, good luck. Get it now or don't ever see it again, because they don't exist.
That's real good advice.
And like I said, I've been talking to a lot of these higher end collectors that have specified in this for the last 20 to 30 years. And some of these comics that they have, and they'll show me, you don't see them. You just don't see them at auction. You don't see them for sale. A lot of those collectors have people in the countries that can source material. They've run out of bookstores and antique stores and all that secondhand stores to go look at all those things, because it's not coming out anymore. The further along that the years go by, the less likely it is to something to come out.
No different than the Promise Collection.
Exactly.
Sure. The Promise Collection is the same thing. It shouldn't exist. It's old. It's in this case, nobody in the foreign countries collected this stuff
Well,
except for a few people. You
And
know?
it's just like, again, after pretty much like I think I heard a discussion 75 years, which is 2-3 generations. Stuff like that is very, very difficult to find if it hasn't already come out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So.
Thanks for a little sidetrack.
No, that's a really good.
that was a good
no,
question.
we've been
That was a
saying
good
this now
question.
for a few shows, and these are the things we're trying to get people to understand as
it's-
to how hard this is going to be for people.
Think about it like art. Art is one of a kind. These comics are 4 of a kind, 15 of them, 20 of them, 40 of them. But it's just like there's hundreds of collectors of them. It's like the Amazing Spider-Man that we recently sold in the weekly. That was the Duran, Peter Parker marrying Gwen Stacy issue.
Mhm.
It went for $15K raw and at 2.0. Again, the community.
That went for 15,000. I was looking at that, going, I really want that. No.
Again, and there's been a lot of people that look for that. Again, it's not an incredibly rare book from what I've been speaking with people, like the Action One, where there's only, but from what I've understand, there's less than 100. So,
Wow.
And there's collectors, especially Spider-Man, and that's a non-canon Spider-Man issue that is
Right.
sought after by American collectors because it's the Gwen Stacy marriage issue. It's almost like a what if or an Elseworld.
Absolutely.
So it's just
Absolutely.
like,
and it doesn't exist in American version. And that
exactly.
also helps.
And that actually helps a lot because that the Spider-Man completist is going to try to get that book.
Right.
So.
Well, thanks for that. The only reason I brought it up is because I have a longtime friend that has Amazing Spider-Man 1 to current, and the goal is AF-15. And the conversation a couple of months ago was, hey, I think I came across this British version. I don't know if I should get it or not to complete my collection.
I think he should.
And it was one of those things like, well, I don't know. How do you feel about it? He was like, I don't know. Is it real? Like, does it count?
Real.
Does it count?
I had a
think
friend that I had a chance to get him because he was doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
I had a chance to help him get a UK version of number 3 and number 1, and he said, absolutely not. Now I'm betting you that in another 5 years he'll reverse that.
The one.
There's like a weird stigma behind it, right? I mean, there is like a little bit of a weird stigma.
I mean, there is, but depends.
There was. Let's say there was.
No, there still kind of is. Depends on the collector.
Not as much.
The collector has to be educated. Like the Golden Age American collector gets this a little bit more than the modern 9/8 collector.
Right.
So it's just like.
So how do you break the stigma? Just to put a little bow on it, like how do you
the
break
showcase
it?
Auction?
Is that how you break
showcase auction
Well,
is
you
going to
also
do it.
You also show by showing the results. It's just like, look, this is what it's going for. This is the percentage. This is the closing of the gap.
There's no way you say to me, hey, Brian, that Gwen Stacy marriage cover is going to go for 15,000.
Nobody.
I'm going to laugh at you.
So you're saying we should keep looking at our archives?
Just keep
log
watching.
on.
Absolutely. You keep watching the auction and you keep understanding. You keep educating yourself.
And there's places like GPA analysis, which is great. It'll track all the prices and it'll show you different countries if it's been sold and it's CGC'd and stuff like that. So
all right.
It's a very good resource at GPA. So
thanks, guys.
Oh no problem.
We're always learning something.
Well, that's what the purpose of the show is.
Yeah.
Me? You? What do you want to do?
Oh yeah,
you're going to alternate?
No,
keep going if you want.
No, we were supposed to alternate.
I was supposed to, yeah. So I'm going to do this one, and you'll have to do one, but then I got 2 because they're both the same auction.
Okay.
So
you're breaking the rules, but that's fine.
Well, I got to do it according to what I have in front of me. Let's not cause problems here. I have a Jumbo Comics number 9. I don't know if you know the importance of this book specifically. Do you?
I don't actually.
Well, Jumbo Comics number 9, this is actually the first comic book size. The first 8 were treasury sized. They're really, really large. They can't be CGC'd. They're too large to be CGC'd. And we're talking about a rarity that would make your head spin. I used to own a number 3 way back in the day. That's the only one I've ever owned and I've ever seen of the number 3. With the exception that our buddy Matt Griffin in the office, he had a 1 through 8 all at once, but they were all missing pages. Yeah. Every single one of them was like a pour. That's how rare they are to get. So this is the first comic book line, and it's
larger than Golden
Age. It is larger than Golden Age, but they can still fit it in a magazine sort of holder.
This is what they call Super Golden Age.
Right. They start shrinking it down from here. But we have a fiction house auction. We talk about all these
Yeah.
specialty auctions. We have so many of them now. It's kind of neat to see, one to the next. This one's the fiction house auction that ends tomorrow.
Yes.
Don't tell anybody about the other stuff in there. There's some great items in there. We've got art in there. We've got comics in there. Everything Fiction House, the publisher, is not everything is in there, but there are some great items. Even a Planet Comics 1 is in there.
Yep.
But this is a 5.0, number 9. That's really high grade almost. Can I see the census on this, Tommy? What are we talking here?
We're talking about 5 higher.
We're talking about, what does that say? 18
18
total,
total.
14 universal. That's how rare this is.
And if you go up a little bit more, there's only 5 higher.
There's only 5 higher than this book
Than
right
this
here.
book, so.
You're talking about only 66% of the books being a 5.0 or less.
Yes.
That's incredible. So if you were looking for a jumbo comics, probably this showcase is what you should be looking at.
Well, if you're looking for if you're
looking
a
for
fiction house collector,
but if you're looking
So-
for early, we have a Planet Comics 1 in this. It's
Yeah.
restored, but it's
it's
absolutely
a
amazing.
restored 7.0. I've always wanted a Planet. It's right now. It's like at $4,600.
It's a beautiful book. I'm telling you, if you want some of the greatest books made, I've always loved Fiction House. I've loved Jungle. I've loved
Planet
The
is
Planet is the best. But then there's Wings. Even Wings got sassy and chopping off the heads, decapitating people, and
again, then that's what the focus. And then there's hopefully we can get that other focus auction, which is other Golden Age titles and stuff. Like
right.
That, so.
Yeah. So that's going to be some more.
Which is again really rare stuff. So
yeah, absolutely.
So the next one we have here is Mighty Thor. I think number 5 cover. Yes, number 5, and it's Jane Foster as Thor. Again, the whole movie coming out. This is a cover by Laura Braga, and it has a great blue line. So this had printed blue line, and then she actually used more blue line to do the lightning effects, and she inked it afterwards. So again, a great piece, a cover in the weekly. I think it's still under $500 if I'm not mistaken, and just an amazing piece that kind of ties into one of the movies that it has been released, and just a beautiful piece.
Now, wait a minute. Let me ask you something, because I've asked you in the past why they use blue line, because it doesn't photocopy and all that stuff. Does that won't photocopy? Though?
That
What do they
won't
have
come
to do?
out. So, but they will use that as color guide lines. So they sometimes they'll also use the reds. Like you recently got a piece from Batman Adventures that had red, and the red you'll see notes on the side to remove red line. But that gives a guide for the colorists, especially the digital colorists.
So they'll just digitally render inside of that.
They'll probably
be the line.
So that blue line probably come out more on Photoshop. They'll probably make it black and just make everything in there white, pitch like because of lightning.
Gotcha.
So whereas another time, like for your example, your Batman one where you see the red line between his legs,
Right.
It's for the darker shading of one gray to the lighter shading of the other gray to show the texture and the light. And
Now,
stuff
would
like
that red line have photographed?
No, that red line definitely comes out,
definitely does, okay.
and you'll see notes where it says remove red line, especially on older. Well, I particularly have an older Marvel piece that says that. So
Okay, that's less confusing now.
yeah,
I picked up some things in New York Comic Con for myself. Did I show you those?
No.
Oh, I can't wait to show you those.
Ooh.
You sure I didn't show you yesterday?
Nope.
I picked up a Batman Adventures page.
Really?
Yeah.
And then I picked up, and it has Superman and Batman in the last panel, which is really cool. And it's got Maximus Zeus. And then I also picked up a Vampirella Deja Thoris pencil page. Oh, is that nice? He doesn't like it because it's pencils. But
again, it's very.
He's
nice.
an elitist.
I said very nice, not elitist. But again, snob. There we go.
So we're going on to the pre-code horror auction sale. So it's a pre-code horror auction sale, but it's also a crime sale. So there are crime books in it too. It's a 2-day sale. It's the first time we've ever done a showcase.
Wow.
In 2 days. We have so many lots in this sale.
Oh, wow.
It's ridiculous.
How many lots are we talking about?
850.
850.
It's ridiculous.
All right. Well,
It's absolutely ridiculous, but that's how popular these sales have become. And I wanted to bring you my favorite LB Cole cover, and that is Blue Boat Weird Tales 115. I love this cover. It's actually my favorite. There are about 60, I think, on the census, but it's hard to get this in high grade just because of the black cover. And you can see it's already past what I can afford. I've always wanted one of these, but I don't collect comics anymore. And we're sad because we always, X and I have always talked about dreaming of finding LB Cole
Cole's
artwork,
collection,
his artwork. But I heard it got lost in a flood.
Yeah.
That's what I was told by a dealer. Which is traumatizing.
Again, a lot of those stories happen. Like
but not him.
Look at Larson, the same thing with the flood.
But not LB Cole.
Len Wine's Incredible Hulk 101.
LB Cole. We're talking about the best, one of the best. It'd be like Schomburg
You're talking
losing
about
all of this stuff.
You did. It got all thrown out. All the golden age
they actively threw it out, but he actually
he asked for some. He asked for some of his stuff back, but most you're talking about.
It's making me sad. Let's stop talking.
80 to 90% of all the golden age are gone, trashed.
Ridiculous. It's so sad. Days. So I brought a Silver Streak 6. This is the first appearance of Daredevil on it too, but it is a very, very classic.
But not
cover.
the Daredevil that we
not the Daredevil, not the Marvel Daredevil.
Not Murdoch as Daredevil.
We had a Daredevil battles Hitler at the show, at the New York show.
The number one.
Not many people said, "Oh, that's not the same Daredevil." They knew inherently.
A lot of people used to say that.
Really surprising. We have a question. It says, "Can you guys tell me what I need to do to sell a Daredevil #1 issue? I'm curious if these books need to be rated, etc. as an absolute non-negotiable." That depends on what we're talking about. Are we talking about a Daredevil #1 from Marvel in 1960s? Then the answer to that is most likely. If you're going to sell it with us, most likely also.
Daredevil 1, even if it is the 40s or 60s, most likely the best way for you to maximize your value of the book is to have it graded.
Right. If we're talking about a 19, or was it 22, version of Daredevil #1, then no, then it wouldn't matter. But if we're talking about Silver Age, Golden Age, then absolutely. The reason is value. If you want to get somebody to spend $3, $5, $10, $20, $100,000 on your books, they need to know it's not restored. There's no pages missing. It's not trimmed. It has no color touching on it. You haven't done something wonky to it. Now, listen, you and I might know that, right? But the comic community, we've already stated, we're crazy. We don't all agree on everything. And so because we don't all agree on everything, even though they may look at us and trust Heritage and what Heritage says, they won't trust everybody. And so it needs to be graded. That's why CGC was created. So you can get it graded so it's more of a level playing field and so that the buyer then trusts what you put in front of them. So yes, unfortunately, you will need to have that much.
We suggest you have it graded. Now, again, it's not
within reason.
It's not an absolute non-negotiable. Like, again, it is your book, it's your collectible. And if you have such strong feelings that you don't want to have it graded, I'm sure we can sell it raw.
If you want to lose 30 to 40% of your value,
can we not have it graded for them though?
I'm saying we're saying as the experts, and we're giving you their advice. As it's like for you to maximize your value. Yes, we absolutely tell you that you should 120% grade the book.
I have actually had this reverse discussion.
Well, it's just like what I'm saying is, it's like the person asked if it was non-negotiable. Again, like I said. If you don't mind, again, taking a hit on the book and you just want it sold as is because you don't trust CGC because I've heard that before or whatever, I mean, it is your book and we would sell it. So
that usually comes with a caveat with 5,000 emails of saying, "Are you sure?"
Yes.
Are you sure? Because I want it in writing.
And we will keep those emails.
I want it in writing because we need to protect ourselves because our job is to make you as much money as possible.
The most money. So that and our best opinion and suggestion to somebody that has a Daredevil 1, and it could be a poor. It could be missing pages.
I wouldn't at that point.
Again,
unless it looks super nice and it's going to qualify.
But it's just like again on the most part we always do grade it.
99.9%. That makes sense. Does that make sense to you, Mr. Describer?
Yeah. No,
Describer. He's a cataloger.
Cataloger.
Wow. I know that.
Anyway, I hope that answers your question. Now
/ entrepreneur.
Oh God.
I hope that answers your question. We like questions like this because you can tell we say the same things, but we don't say them in the same way. He's a little more refined than I am. I'm like, get it graded.
Thank you.
That's what we do. We actually, we would actually take the book in raw because that's what we do a lot of times, and then have it graded for you. When we get it back, we deduct that from your settlement. That's the easy way to do it.
And it's a very easy process.
Yeah, so you don't have to pay for it up front, because that is a lot of money, by the way. And if you press it, it's another fee. So why would you do that when we can take care of it? We're not going to pay it for you, but we're going to help pay for it.
And you don't know if it needs to be pressed or if it shouldn't be pressed. Again, I have a particular person that emails me, and I tell them to send me their books to grade, but they want to grade their own books, and they don't know if it needs to be pressed or not. And from the results that they're showing me, is their books should not have been pressed. But collectors, again, will do what they want with their items, and the person continues to grade the books, where my best suggestion is not to waste your money on those grading fees. So it comes down to, and we're kind of belaboring the point here, but it comes down to trusting us. Yeah.
If you don't trust us, then you shouldn't be giving us your books to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
We can't make money unless you make money. But if you're not going to trust the experts, people who've been doing this either their whole lives, or I've been for 6 years.
And the person you contacted, it's like you literally contacted us for our expert opinion. And then you're sometimes I understand I understand that you don't like our expert opinion, but
we have people go, it's perfect, it's never been touched, and I see rips in it. I'm sorry, it's a 3. No, it's not. It's a 7. No, it's not, because we're the experts. That's why we're here. And so we want you to make $1 million.
Oh, yeah.
We really do. It looks great on us. It looks great on you. You're rich. Great. But it's then 60s, Dennis, an honest answer to your book, or to your question.
And if the Daredevil #1, if it's not a poorer one, so if it's a 2 or 4, yes, I would grade it.
I would grade it. And I would send us pictures so we can evaluate that to determine for sure.
And you might want to press it. That's the other thing. We can only tell you and suggest and give our best opinion if we are able to see the item. So
I suggest you emailing us, which are right at the bottom of the screen there. Guess I go back to the Silver Streak.
Yeah. Did you finish?
Did I finish?
No, you didn't get your point across about it.
Well, it's the first appearance of Daredevil. It's one of the most iconic covers ever. Like, this is like a holy grail.
Well,
it's also it is the
villain
book.
evilness.
Yeah, well, it's the Claw.
Yeah.
Get it, because I think this is only like the second one I've ever held in my life.
Yeesh.
It's not very common.
They don't.
What's the census on this,
They don't
Tommy?
come up often. There's a few of those because it said
35. And
no, it's 46 total.
No, well, that's including Restore.
Yeah.
I'm talking about blue labels.
Okay.
This is a blue label. 35 unrestored books. That's insane. That's low. That's about on par with an Action Comics 1, by the way.
A golden age, all the #1s. So
right. So okay, now I think I'm done with this one.
So next
I'd like to
piece.
go back to it and still buy it, even though I don't collect comics anymore.
You collect comics.
I really don't.
The next piece that we have is Batman Chronicles title splash with, again, a lovely Catwoman. And again, Catwoman in the recent years has become a very big part of the whole Batman lore with marriage and all that stuff. And again, a great piece that's a title splash. Batman, beautiful Catwoman by, will you please say the name? Because I don't want to butcher it.
It looks, if I butcher it, he's going to make me do it. It looks like Gavel Guichet.
Okay, because I would not be. But and then by Hector Collazo, which I particularly know Hector because he was a Daredevil inker during the Scott run. So I forgot his name now. I'm blanking. But he did incredible inks. He did these heavy blocks, and it's very contrast. It's very modern looking, and again, a beautiful Catwoman that you can just put on your wall.
I love the title.
Yeah,
Whippersnappers. I feel like I should be saying that in another 5 years.
Well, I think you're
5 years.
You're
Xavier.
No, he's there.
5 years.
No.
Not now. 5 years.
So, I'll do another one real quick, which because it's also a Batman piece with
Nice.
Catwoman.
Ooh, that one's nice.
So, and this is a Kevin Mcguire, all pencils.
He's going to be snobby though because he's
No,
gonna say it's all pencils.
it's all full pencils. It's another thing. Like so,
snobby.
some artists will put X's on all this area where the digital inker can just fill it in. But Russ Braun and Kevin Mcguire and several other artists do full pencils that make it semi-look inked. And again, it's a great detail. There's a lot. There's a Batgirl, Batman, and again, a beautiful Catwoman in the piece. And great paneling as well. So
we have this incredible running argument of pencils versus inks. Now, I'm here to say I actually like inked items, right? But I love the original pencils too from the artist, whereas he would much rather have the.
I'd rather have
the inked item.
Again, the pencil and ink, because there's a lot of artists in my collection that I have. It's the full vision. Like it's only one artist and they pencil it.
But see, no, as I've never seen the original page of what I just bought, the Deja Thor, or Vampirella Deja Thor, right? But we were having this discussion. I mean, it's a beautiful page, right? I mean, the pencils are beyond belief.
Well, all the detail,
gorgeous.
Yes.
But you said what happens if somebody was a bad inker? What would happen?
Oh, I mean, it messes it up.
They would completely ruin that page. I would detail. Much rather have what I have right now. Well, it is so gorgeous.
It's also, again, like that's why I say, like, if the artist themselves inks their work, then
that makes it a little. That
it's
makes
much
it a
more
little,
complete,
right?
Thing. So, but and then the other thing also goes to there's a reason why Jim Lee has always had Scott Williams as his inker. So he's a very good inker, and he does exactly what Jim thinks that the vision should look like. Right. So, again, turn. Now your turn.
Okay, so I did all my showcases, but I guess I'll go to. I brought a lot of Golden Age because it was really rare this week. However, I think I'll go to a Silver Age. I'll do this one. I brought an FF44. This is the first appearance of Gorgon in the Inhumans and everything like that. It is a 9.6. Oof. Like I think there were only 12 higher than this. I think I looked up the census, but this is in our weekly sale. A 9.6 in our weekly sale. Wow. This kind of proves that you don't need to be in a signature sale to have good books. Our weekly sales
get good prices.
I mean, our weekly sales hold an incredible amount of items. They're always good. They're always top notch. Just because it's not in a signature sale, it's not $100,000 item, doesn't mean anything. I mean, we're still pulling $500 to $1 million a week in our weekly sales. That's how much money we do, but that's how good of stuff we get too. I mean, last week I was jumping for joy because we keep track of all our sales and all that stuff, and I was number one, right? Yeah. But I had every key book in there. Like every Marvel key book was in there. I had Amazing Fantasy 15, and Amazing Spider-Man 1. I had the Journey into Mystery 83, Avengers 1, Daredevil. I had them all. And I loaded it up for that reason. But that's kind of the point I'm making is they show up in our weekly sales.
Oh, and they still get the same price.
They still get the same price. So whether it's 5 days of auction or it's
30
3
days,
weeks.
Yeah.
More goodies.
More. Well, I have
keep going.
Two last ones.
I see that.
Well, let me do another one then.
So
we'll do another one.
Go ahead.
Because I have two after this. Though.
Okay.
I also brought a Captain America number 17. I like this one because I think maybe I have brought this before in some fashion. I can never remember, but I like this book specifically because it's a little pre-code. Looks a little pre-code horror. He's socking a zombie guy, monster, that sort of thing.
Bucky in bondage by
Tombstone. And it's October, I mean, we're in Halloween. Why not? This is actually a perfect book for that. But this is a 4.5, very clean copy, very nice book.
Especially on the blacks.
Nothing. This actually came out of Minneapolis with all those other books I sold last week.
Okay.
And all the major books. This client had full runs of not Timely. Oh man, I wish. Full run of all Silver Age Marvel.
Oh, okay.
Like he had full runs of everything, including the Strange Tales 110, which I never see, and then the whole run of Amazing Spider-Man, including Amazing Fantasy 15, X-Men, Daredevil, all that stuff. But he also had like 6 or 7 Captain Americas from the Golden Age. which was very surprising. He had just picked them up, over time. And those are in this week's auction. So you should look at those. This is all part of the What Would Wiedman Want segment that Xavier is kind of throwing me out of whack of,
Wait, one more time?
Huh?
So
what would Wiedman want?
What
He
would
coined it.
Wiedman
it
want?
was-
Triple W.
So it's a Stanleyism. I coined Stanleyism. So
Okay.
I always like messing with the words that have like saying a sentence with the same.
Sure.
So and the whole thing.
We were doing Brian's picks or
Well,
something
no.
like that.
Well,
What were we
it
doing?
was-
You were doing
so-
Xavier's picks.
So
and
again, if you want me to say it, was Wiedman wins.
there you go. I like that
wants.
one. Wiedman wants.
And then I actually thought about kept on elongating. It's just like, what would Wiedman want?
Love it.
So
I thought it was great. So,
Okay, what would Wiedman want? All right. Say that 3 times fast.
right? I want a Captain
What
America
would-
17. That's what I
Wiedman
want.
so
Silver
What
Streak
would
number
Wiedman
6.
want?
we get
No.
Or the Catwoman with whippersnappers in the title.
that title splash. I love that title splash. So here we have, which I don't know if you can see it very well.
We can pull it up.
Oh, there we go. So this is a James Jean piece, and James Jean is very famous for the Fables covers and a lot of painted work that almost looks ethereal, like very pop and great pastels sometimes. But this particular piece, again, the Fables cover is always very expensive, and his pieces are massive. This is a great advertisement piece that he did for jeans. For like, and you'll see the jean brands up here where it's True Religion, Juicy, Rock and Republic, and it has all like his style of characters, like Tiger, very Fables like with the faces and the posing and what's going on, and it's just a great piece, very affordable if you wanted a James Jean example. I really
3,200 affordable.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That jumped. That
'Cause
jumped.
Usually
a
you
lot.
do everything under 1,000.
So
right?
I apologize. So I very much apologize because so we now have to pick this a little bit earlier, and if I would have seen that, I would have not brought that one. But
it could still be affordable.
Well,
Don't say it's not
affordable for a James Jean piece apparently, because if this is what this is going, the Fables cover, because we have the Fables cover of Jack coming from like Hollywood. It's like one of the best covers, and it's going to come in our signature. I can't imagine what that's going to go for. Then.
If that's going
if
for
this
that.
is 3,200, like that's going to destroy. That's going to make a record for him.
Yeah.
Like, so I apologize.
Wait, what was it at when you pulled it?
This was under $500. Like,
it's not under any.
That's for sure. But again, as you can see, James Jean is a very popular artist, and it's a great pencil piece of.
Thanks for bidding, everybody.
Yeah, no, it's just like wow. So,
we get surprised too. I mean, obviously, listen, I wasn't kidding when I said I would have liked that Gwen Stacy, Marion Peter Parker book, right? Because it was so unique, it was so new, it was different. I would never have told you it was going to go for 15,000.
Again, I'm a James Jean fan. I would love to have one of his pieces of his artwork when it's to say, and I thought this was going to be like, oh, okay, it's a pencil piece, it's an advertisement piece. It's not going to be that crazy. It's as much. It's actually past what I bought a new Daredevil published cover for.
Wow.
So that's watercolored.
That's saying a lot.
Daredevil cover.
I mean, that's how popular this
gets.
Yeah. And also, what happens at auction when you sink two people sink their teeth into something
that they really
will
want,
not let it go.
That they really want, and obviously, two people really want this piece. So.
Right.
You want to do one more?
Yeah. By the way, this isn't us. We don't help these things along.
Yeah,
this is two people shocking us right now, obviously.
Because again, like I said, I usually don't bring pieces over $1,000 unless it's something really important or it's the signature auction. But this was a kind of a shock to me. Yeah. That
was a floor.
It's the last.
You should see the look on your face
in the last 24 hours.
You're gonna have to take a look at the replay on that and see. I mean, you really.
I was
holy
like, whoa.
Cow. I brought a Keen Detective Funnies 23. This is the first one I've ever seen. I have never seen this book before, and This is also in our weekly auction, but this has a crazy, stupid census low census. I think we're at like 12. It's something ridiculous.
11.
9. There's
Well,
9.
and 11 overall.
With 11 overall.
So there's 2 restored.
There's 2 restored, and there's 9 blue labels. That'll tell you how rare this is. This is Centaur Publications. So Centaur is one of the hardest publishers to ever get. Many of you guys may know the classic Nazi monkey, robot cover or whatever that is, that are super rare. The green, and just ridiculously rare because they're hard to find. But this is in our weekly auction, and a 3.5. Tommy, can you go back to the census? I'm curious to know how high compared to so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
There's
6 higher grade. There's the 7.5 is the highest. There's 6 higher than this, and then there's 2 in this grade, 1 lower. I mean, it just does not exist. It's not existent. If you wanted this, you better get it now. And right now it's at $13. I will bet you money it doesn't end at $13.
So, and my last piece here today is a very prolific and master of the work, I think, is San Julian. So San Julian did a lot of Vampirella covers and other painted pieces, and he's been working in the industry for, I think, over 50 years or 40, at least 40 years. But he does a lot of preliminaries like this before he does a painted piece, and he's very photorealistic. Again, I brought this piece because it's still under $200.
Didn't want a sticker shock.
Well, because there's currently 3 San Julian pieces. There's this one, there's another penciled piece, and then there's a painted piece of Uncle Creepy. And the Uncle Creepy was under $500 last I saw it. I don't know if it's gone up. But again, I love his work. He is a master at what he does. And this is a beautiful piece.
Did you say this was a preliminary?
Well, sometimes he'll do like these type of things as a prelim, and then he'll do a painted piece.
Okay. I mean, that is awfully detailed if it's prelim.
Well,
I've never seen anything like it.
Again,
it's amazing.
Like you'll see his process, and this is one of if he's making a painted piece, this is one of the steps in the process.
Gotcha.
So again, very photorealistic. We've had several pieces of his. This is one of the graphite pieces. He also uses a kind of a sepia toned chalk or in other pieces and stuff like that. And again, painted pieces. One of my favorite Vampirella covers is actually by him. So
nice.
Just a beautiful piece and a beautiful artist. And if you love The Godfather, again, crossover with VHSs that we're also auctioning and stuff like that. So
great. Well, I did have one more, but they were giving me the
time. So
hurry it up now because we actually had brought a lot more than we normally do because Ryan was here and going through the stuff. So I'll just quickly say, hey, look at this Miracle Comics. It's kind of the same thing as the Centaur book. This is Hillman Productions. It's rare. It's a 1/8, and I've never seen one before. And let me tell you, when we get to books that we've never seen before, or I've never seen before, that's saying quite a bit. While it's still low, it's early. I wouldn't expect this to end up there. You definitely go to our site this week. There's some incredible Golden Age books.
This whole month is
this
incredible.
Whole month is ridiculous. We've got the signature sale coming up in November. The books of the catalogs will be out on the 28th. That's when they'll mail out. We've got Ryan's auction. We've got the pre-code horror auction. We've got
foreign auction.
Foreign auction starting. Do not miss this month. It's going to be a doozy.
Don't miss the next month. Again, this is the end of the year, the presents and all that stuff. So
yeah,
it's a lot of holidays to keep yourself entertained.
So, and then when you get your Christmas money, we start all over at the beginning of the year too. So, or at the end of the year.
Thanksgiving drunk bidding.
Right. There we go. So I do want to thank Ryan Mundaka. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you guys.
Thank you for
I had a blast.
And again, showing your whole auction and explaining everything about the whole history and and why you put it together and stuff.
Thank
like
you,
that.
guys.
So,
I appreciate being invited. I felt like I learned so much.
Oh, good.
well, that's
That's
why
kind of
we
the
always
whole
try.
reason
So,
we're
Yeah,
doing this.
absolutely.
So if you need anything, we did have a question, how to, should you grade your book or
Yes.
not? That's what we're here for. You should get a hold of us. We do have our emails that come up here, brianw@ha.com.
feel free to email us, xavierc@ha.com, or leave a comment, or go to any of the Instagram or social medias, and just let us know if you have any questions. So,
Great.
as always,
And I'm Brian Wiedman for the Gavel Strikes.
I'm Xavier Chavez.
Thank you very much.
And
Thanks
that's
to
Ryan.
Ryan.
And I'm special guest Ryan.
Thanks, everybody. We will see you in 2 weeks.
Have a good one.
Take care.